All right, welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel, and say hi to Ren and Stimpy and Powdered Toast Man. And guys, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the KnivesFAST channel, as I already said, but let's get started. So, today we are reviewing the Cold Steel AD10. Comes by way of Rusty Knife Lover. I will have his info in the description. Rusty sent me a pile of knives, and this is one of them. A big beast of a knife. The very first Andrew Dimko. Wow. I renamed the guy. Andrew Dimko knife on the channel. Big beefy design, as a lot of his are. And, it's interesting now. He's worked with Cold Steel for quite some time, and it looks like he's starting to sort of venture out on his own a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. So it's great for me to have this one, and I have carried it a couple of times. I think maybe three, actually. And it is a big beast. It does take up a big chunk of my pocket. As you can see, let's see, what have I got over here? So if you take, for example, the CJRB Feldspar, and you look at the width of that in your pocket, hold it the same way here, the width of it in your pocket versus the width of the AD10 in your pocket, it's quite a difference. So again, this is a Cold Steel made in Taiwan S35VN, big chunky blade. Just really dig the shape, the look of this blade. I mean, look at that satin finish, the flats with the finish going the different direction. The AD10, they're really cool looking design to the thumb studs, and got this awesome looking swedge. I would just call this a drop point. It obviously has some elements of a spear point, but it's definitely a drop in my opinion. Not that you guys, well, I mean, you're here, so you must want my opinion. They call it a drop point as well. Okay, good. Cold Steel S35VN, made in Taiwan. It does have what's more of a sharpening choil here. You can kind of put your finger back like this. Not very comfortable that way. It's more comfortable to grip the knife this way. So interestingly enough, and I said this to somebody, I'm just going to show it now. Please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. I really enjoy, and I'm going to do the review on this one soon, the way my hand is locked into the Mini Adamas. Thanks, JB, for sending this along. Big Red EDC. And it's very similar. It's different, of course, because there's a deeper finger well. But having the swell at the back here and the guard at the front is very similar to how you feel when you're gripping this guy. Now, it is a lot bigger than the Mini Adamas, but there's not a lot of leftover room even for my large to maybe extra large size hands. You do have a lanyard hole back here, a nice giant size one to go with the rest of the knife. Got this really awesome contoured G10, really cool in that regard. I love the way it looks and the way it's textured. You have a finger well there to lock you in very nicely. By the way, this jimping, yeah, I think it's more decorative. It's actually irritating to my thumb. It's not, I wouldn't call it jimping in the sense of gripping and grabbing, nor would I call any of this back here jimping in that same case. It's a texture, it's a thing, it makes it look cool, but it's definitely not your typical, jimping, if you will. You do have a deep carry pocket clip, and it is true deep carry to me. I mean, there's a tiny, no, there's nothing. Yeah, it's true deep carry. Goes in and out of the pocket well. Plenty of room here, and I would not call that, just because of how big this is. You feel it in your hand, but it is definitely not a hot spot for me. Again, you may have different differences there. So it is a closed back because it has the back spring for the lock back. You have full on stainless steel liners. They are not skeletonized, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Pivot is nice little design, but mostly plain, nice and flat over here. Any of the screws or pins, I guess these are, for the, that's like a hinge for that lock, for the lock. They're pretty much countersunk because of the contouring. As you can see, they do stick up a little tiny bit, but not much. And on the pocket clip, they do stick up. I wish the pocket clip, there's plenty of scale here, nice and thick. They could have recessed that pocket clip or the screws or both, but they didn't. And that's okay. It is right-hand carry, tip-up only. Sorry, lefties. So as far as action, guys, I mean, the way it works for me is I kind of get the meat of my finger into that, and I have to give it a little bit of wrist. Again, I know I'm not the one to take your action advice from. I know a lot of people say they can. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's just there's almost, I know this is really weird to say, there's almost too much room here. I kind of feel like if it was closer, I could kind of get a pinch point there and have a little more room. But if you flick it with your wrist, it's going to come open. I don't do it because I don't want to lose a finger, but it is a drop shot. It has that spring, and when you get it down close, it's going to suck it in because that's what springs do. So I close it two-handed because I don't want to lose a finger. This is a big beast of a knife. So I don't have my PM2 or PM3 down here right now, but I thought these would be all very nice size comparisons. So this is the new CRKT Pilar 3. That'll give you a little bit of size advice there. And then you saw where I had the mini Adamas out here, and we'll just take the Pilar 3 out and put the regular size CJRB Feldspar in there. Sorry for the fingerprints there. So it's not humongous, but it is definitely a large knife, and it's very capable. I did take it out and gently cut on, since it's not my knife, a couple of limbs and things like that. Really small, thin limbs, green stuff. And it just cut like an axe would, guys. I mean, there's a lot of force. It is a big, thick piece of stock. As you can see now, it is obviously been trimmed in there for that swedge. But it does come down to a really nice, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it comes down to a really nice edge. It will cut, and it is a very capable, very cool knife. So, sorry, my camera, it's been doing this the last couple. My tripod holder is not doing the greatest, so sorry about that. But it is an 8.5-inch long knife overall, so that makes it, pretty big. The blade length is 3.625, so over 3.5, but less than 4. So it's not a super duper long blade. Man, let me get them fingerprints off of there, guys. Sorry about that, or those fingerprints, I guess I should say. There we go. That's a little, well, didn't really get them, did I? So yeah, I mean, it's not, the handle-wise, it looks huge. Blade-wise, it doesn't look enormous. It is a 6.83-ounce knife. Again, no skeletonization, full closure on the back, nice thick blade stock, thick liners, full stainless steel liners. So that's not surprising to me, and it does carry a little bit weighty. I wouldn't call it, annoying in the pocket or super heavy or anything like that, but you definitely very much know it's there. And so obviously plenty of room in the handle there. The handle is 5.25 inches, but you do have those two bump outs there. And then the blade thickness, and I assume this is behind the edge, is 0.15 inch. So there you go, guys. The Andrew Dimko designed AD10 from Cold Steel. Going a little long here, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. But a really capable work knife, guys. I don't know. They call it an EDC knife, and I don't know that I completely agree from my perspective. Some of you I bet would EDC this knife with no problem whatsoever. For me, it's a little large for a typical EDC knife. Now, would I take it hiking or camping? Yeah, absolutely. Very capable, very good knife. So, guys, let me know what you think of this one. Really interesting knife. Rusty, thanks so much for sending it along. And really, really enjoyed it. And give me a thumbs up and a comment. And guys, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. And thanks so much for watching the KnivesFAST channel.